Hello, and welcome to episode 86 of the Life in General podcast. My name is Nick.
My name is Ian.
What the hell is that?
I just had to break up that. I just couldn't tolerate that.
Sexy talk?
Well, whatever it was. I wouldn't call it sexy, but maybe it's sexy to you. But
That was my elevator voice.
Your elevator voice?
Yes.
For like elevator music?
Yeah.
Muzak?
Yeah.
Yuck.
And I'm Mandy.
Yeah, we're joined by Mandy's with us today.
Yes. Which automatically elevates the episode by at least 25%.
Is that what it is?
Yes. Especially after that introduction.
So, hold on, let me do my little spiel here. I almost didn't do it. So any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@lifeingeneralpodcast.com. Check us out on Twitter at LIGpod. We got a page on the Facebook. The Facebook?
On Facebook?
On the Facebook.
On the
It
Facebook?
used to be the Facebook when it first started.
Did it?
Mm-hmm. You can find us on iTunes, Podbean, Google Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, just about everywhere else. Mm-hmm. So this is our first episode for the month of September. And guess what that means?
Music.
It's a vinyl record episode, and this is the first time we've actually had a guest during our record episodes.
Might be a bad idea.
Is that
no?
Hold on, we all grew up at the same time period. We all grew up listening to records and stuff, and that's what this episode's about. That we're going to talk about what our essential must-own records are, and see, having me and Ian here, we kind of have similar tastes and similar musical backgrounds. So it's why it's nice, and I thought it'd be nice to have you on to give a different perspective, because you listen to more like pop and country and things like that, oldies,
gospel.
Yeah, so it's a different flavor it adds to the show.
Right. And we kind of cover what's coming out, but we also cover what we've gotten in the last month.
Yeah,
and you've gotten records in the last month.
Mandy has bought more records in the past month than Ian has.
Maybe.
No.
Yes. All right, hold on. So So this episode, I'm going to run down. So this is what happens. I'm going to run down a list of what we're going to talk about.
All right.
Then we'll kind of get into the first topic here. Okay. So we're going to talk about some upcoming releases for the month of September. We're going to talk about some albums that we found in the past month. We're going to talk about some of our favorite or most memorable records that we had growing up. And then finally, some records that we think are like must-haves for music listeners,
that
or
we don't
record listeners.
Have yet,
or actually, everything I'm going to list, I have.
Okay,
because
they're just must-haves.
Yeah, because how can I say they're must-have if I don't own them, Ian?
He owns everything he wants.
Not yet. I'm sure there's something.
There are some things, but
no, not
everything.
No.
And
he doesn't know he wants it until he sees it.
Then he gets it.
Okay. So as far as upcoming September releases, all right. So for the month of September, there's a total of 484 things coming out. And I didn't come up with a whole lot for the month. I don't know if there's a slowdown during the summer months or whatever. I know one that's not on here, which might be out this month. They haven't really set a date yet. Is Taylor Swift's new album? Mm-hmm. What's the name of it? Lover. I think. So it came out August 23rd, digitally and on CD, but they haven't announced anything as far as vinyl releases, so I don't really have a date for that yet. But I would assume it'd either be September, October, November when that comes out.
Typically, they're usually a month or so behind. Taylor
Swift's kind of funny with her stuff, though. When her last album came out, she kept off of all streaming services for 30 or 60 days.
Right.
This one, it was
available right away.
Yeah, available right away on at least with Apple Music.
Didn't she work some kind of better deal on that on her stuff?
I think she did.
So
yeah,
it's
because
probably more
for
financially
3 or 4 years before her last album came out, none of her music was on any streaming service.
Right. So she's probably. It's probably financially viable.
I'm sure they made it worth her while to have it on there. Yeah. So September 6th, that week, there's 106 releases coming out. Mandy, one that'd be notable in our house at least, because I'm sure Reese will probably want it, is Melanie Martinez's new album comes out that week. K through 12 Baby. I don't know what that is. I don't think I've ever actually listened to any of her music.
You have, but
have I?
You probably don't.
Okay.
Right, in one ear and out the other kind of a thing.
Well, I think he would really like it if he listened to it, because it's kind of in your style. It's
Is
not.
It?
It's creepy.
I don't know why, but I'm generally not a fan of
Women.
female singers.
Yeah, honestly,
Avril Lavigne's probably one of the few female artists I really like.
Tori Amos for me.
Yeah. So also that week, Miles Davis, Rubber Band is coming out.
Okay.
Never heard of it before, but Welcome to the Nightmare, a tribute to Alice Cooper.
Okay. I'm not a big fan of tribute albums.
Are you going to read all 160?
No, he's just going to hit just a few.
I'm going to hit like 15 of them.
Things that the three of us might actually like or be interested in.
And then I know none of you guys have probably ever even listened to them. Have you guys ever heard the band White Lion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a stupid question.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Do you know where we grew up?
Okay,
right.
So I found it really interesting. So that week, White Lion is releasing or re-releasing "Fight to Survive," which is their debut album, which is the album that no one's ever heard of before. They had like their next 3 albums sold,
crazy.
A lot higher quantities than that album. So I thought it was really strange that they released that, but they didn't. They're not going to re-release. Pride was the one that had, which was their big hit.
When the Children Cry.
They had that on there. Then they had Big Game and Main Attraction were the next 3. But anyway, I thought it was really strange that they're only going to release that. Huh. I hope they will release the other ones because I'd like to have them on vinyl, but they're all
expensive.
They're not like super expensive, but they're more than I would pay for albums like that.
Right.
I mean, they're probably no more than like $35, but
yeah, no, there's a lot like that for me too. It's like, if I see it for $6, I'll buy it.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's how I am. We go to Dearborn Music or something on a Sunday. There's a lot of stuff. I'm like, so Mandy, one of the records that Mandy bought this week or had me buy was a Cinderella.
The Disney
Disney Cinderella.
soundtrack.
Well, it's not a soundtrack. It's like a story.
It's the actual story, and there's a storybook inside of it too.
I had a Pete's Dragon one like that when I was.
But I thought it was really kind of cool. And it was like $6 or $7, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll buy it for that. So the next week, September 13th, there's 163 releases coming out that week. Breadcrumbs from Alice Cooper comes out.
Yep.
Do you know what that is?
It's an EP. I think there's 6 songs on it. I think 3 or 4 of them are original songs. And then there's a couple covers, and it's focusing on Detroit garage bands.
Okay.
So the songs that he wrote that were written for it are kind of in that style and tribute to, and then the covers are from bands that are like Detroit garage bands.
Okay. Well, that sounds kind of cool.
And it's tying into supposedly to his next full-length album.
Gotcha. Indestructible by Art Blakey comes out that week. There's Modern English, who they're, of course, a one-hit wonder. Mm-hmm. They're releasing a 7-inch of I Melt With You that, if I can find it, I'm going to pick that up because I really like that song.
I've never really liked that song.
Really?
No.
All right, then. Just me then. And then Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I just think because he used it in a Burger King commercial, so every time I hear it, I think of Burger King. Yeah.
All right.
I'm serious because they used it for like melting cheese and stuff, and I was like,
that's funny.
Now I can't think of anything else.
Red Hot Chili Peppers is releasing the Californication picture disc. There's another one I thought would be really interesting. If I see it, I'll pick it up probably. Is the Forrest Gump soundtrack. So they're releasing 3 different versions of it, and I think this is kind of cool. They're releasing a silver 25th anniversary edition, so it's silver vinyl.
Uh-huh.
They're releasing a Bubba Gump Shrimp pink copy, and then they're also releasing a Box of Chocolates brown vinyl version. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I think I'd want the silver one because I don't think I have any silver records.
No?
No. I've got a couple white ones. I got some orange. I got a brown. Blue.
Do you? What brown vinyl do you have?
It's one of my Alice's. It's
really
Dada. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was like brown. a light brown.
It's brown, but it's speckled too.
Gotcha.
So there's like other colors, but it's mostly brown.
And then there's I've never heard of this band before. I thought it was a really interesting band name. It's Witch Vomit.
Witch Vomit.
Witch Vomit.
Sounds like a band Mandy would like.
No, are you kidding me?
I know, being sarcastic.
And the name of the album is Buried Deep in a Bottomless Grave.
Wow.
That sounds like something our daughter would
like.
It doesn't leave much to the imagination,
does it? Probably
does it?
like death metal or something like that.
It doesn't have the catchy pun of the White Lion albums, Pride and Main Attraction.
But how do you bury deep in something that's bottomless?
That's a good question. Maybe that's the deep part of it. Maybe that's where
that's where they made it. That's where
it's a question.
That's where Witch Vomit makes you think.
Oh, I'm really thinking of Husker Du and bands that sound like diseases.
So September 20th is a week that I'm waiting for. I can't wait for it. It's when 9 by Blink-182 comes out. That's their new album.
Is it their 9th album?
It is. So there was like a meme. There was a meme on I don't
Andy's
know,
rolling your eyes.
I think it was on. I don't know if it was on Instagram or Facebook, wherever it was, but it was like Blink-182 has announced their next album, and it's like it was the picture of 10 by Pearl Jam and just a Blink-182 across the top.
I know. I did the same thing.
Not funny to anyone else.
It's not. No, it's not.
9 and then 10.
I get it.
But why Blink? I know.
Yeah, it's like
because they're
or Pearl Jam. Yeah, no.
Pearl Jam's first album was called 10, so I mean it doesn't really work.
But it does because it's 9 and then 10. Okay, I found it was funny. I thought it was funny.
Well,
fuck you guys.
Good. Hey, you know what?
You guys can rot in hell.
Nick, you find as much joy in life as you possibly can.
Okay, all right, fine. So, My Chemical Romance they're releasing Danger Days on a picture disc that week. Another thing I would like to have, the Polar Express soundtrack that comes out.
You can keep that.
Of course, I figured you'd say that. And then Liam Gallagher is releasing Why Me, Why Not, which I believe is his new solo album.
Okay, I'd have to hear it before I buy it.
I'm not a big fan of his solo stuff.
That's why I'd have to hear it before I bought it. I mean, if it sounds good,
even the last couple of Oasis albums, I wasn't really a fan of.
I haven't really listened to them either, so I can't really say.
I thought they only had that one song.
No, they've got like 5 albums or something.
Yeah, they've
5 or
got
6
they
albums.
got, I can look them up.
Does anybody else know their songs though?
Off
okay.
of,
I would imagine they're fans.
well, I know the songs off of Definitely Maybe, and then What's the Story, Morning Glory.
Oh.
Those are their 2 big sellers, I would think. So while you're doing that, Ian, I'll go on to the next week.
Okay, yep.
So the week of September 27th, it's a big Social Distortion week.
Ooh,
So Social Distortion is releasing the reissues of Mommy's Little Monster and Mainliner, which I've never seen either one of those on vinyl. And they're also re-releasing Sex, Love, and Rock and Roll, which is a fantastic album.
Yeah.
I think that was from like the early 2000s. And I've seen it online for sale, older copies of it, and it's like way more. It's over $100.
Yeah, you can pre-order it on SRC.
Yeah, SRC Vinyl has it on there, so I would definitely like to pick that up.
7 albums for the record. And
Oasis at 7. I was close. I think it said 5 or 6. Yeah. So, and then the Beatles are releasing the anniversary double EP for Abbey Road.
Yeah,
they're also releasing a double EP picture disc and an anniversary deluxe triple LP.
Which is like a box set, and that's like the 110.
Who owns the right to all of them?
McCartney.
I thought it was
McCartney got it all back.
Paul McCartney. Yeah,
he did. I thought
Michael Jackson owned it for a long
okay,
time.
Gotcha.
He owned McCartney's share of it. McCartney sold his share of the
Gotcha.
music.
Okay,
because Yoko owns 50%.
Gotcha.
Of course she does.
And then the last one I've got for that week is the Boys in the Hood soundtrack is coming out on Translucent Blue, which would be a good one also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the movie, but I don't know if I'd own the soundtrack.
It's good. It's a good soundtrack, and it's not just rap. It's got like a lot of soul stuff on there, funk, and it's a good mixture.
I just don't think I'd own the soundtrack.
Thank you for clarifying that, Ian.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I should have corrected. I think I texted you that I owned 153 albums. There's only 152. I had a duplicate on there.
Well, you count duplicates.
I don't count duplicates.
I do because I've got, like with my Def Leopards, I've got an original processing and I've got the reissues.
But I'm not going to keep my duplicates. So
I will.
I have no plans to keep them. So
why not? There's different sound qualities to them.
Perhaps, but the ones that I have were not taken care of before I got them.
Well, that's different. That's different then.
You know, I have all of Cat Stevens, but they're like the covers are falling apart. Gotcha. They're scratched to hell. Gotcha. So I'm not going to count the 2 copies of Buddha in the Chocolate Box that I have now because one's garbage.
The original pressing Def Leopards I have, they're all in really good shape. So.
Right. Well, but
I wanted the remastered editions also.
Right.
Which I just picked up Hysteria.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, it's on my list of things that I've picked up in the last month. What about you, Ian? What have you picked up?
I've picked up 11 records this month.
That's a lot. That's a
lot.
Nick
does that in like one day.
I know. That's a lot for me.
Hey, I only got 40 records
in one day.
Month, and the whole month of
so
August.
that 11 records in one day is pretty much.
No, this wasn't in one day. This was a month. 11 in 1 month. I usually buy 2 a month or 3 a month.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I'm thinking every Sunday Nick
picks
up 10 records.
Yeah.
So.
No, I don't even
But a lot of the stuff I pick up, though, Mandy, is used stuff and cheap stuff. We had 10, out of the 40 records we bought this month, 10 of them together costed $10.
Okay.
Remember? Because you went
what
to
are you looking at me for?
You were with him.
No, she was the one that bought them.
Oh, you bought them?
When you went to a yard sale, you picked up like 6 or 7 records.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's why I said you bought more records this month than Ian did.
Oh, right. I was wondering.
Yeah. Well, any other month, it would have been more because I usually only buy, say, 2 to 4 albums a month.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
I normally buy.
I don't want to be poor.
Yeah.
I don't want to be poor and spend all my money on records. But yeah, I got Shenanigans by Green Day.
Yeah. Have you gotten that yet, though? Or
I had it shipped to my dad's house because I didn't want it dropped at my house.
Yeah, because the last time Ian ordered one online,
it sat in the sun for an hour or so.
Yeah, that's not good. By the way, I watched a video on YouTube, and it was this guy. I forgot what channel it was on, but anyway, it's one of those record channels on YouTube, and he was talking about how long it takes a record to warp in a car. So it was like an 88-degree day. He put it in his car, and 30 minutes later, he went out there, and it was like so warped it would not even play.
Yeah, but that's in a car. So if it's 88 degrees outside, it's probably close to 100 degrees in the car.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, though.
Right. But yeah, that's like I said. I didn't want any. If it was delivered to my dad's house, his porch is covered. So, the next one too. I got a 12-inch single, "Lap of Luxury" by Jethro Tull. 45.
Why'd you want the? Is it not on?
It's got 3 songs on it that are not on the vinyl under wraps, because the vinyl under wraps is truncated because of space and time, whereas the CD has 15 songs.
I didn't know they released a separate 7-inch or 12-inch. I mean,
yeah, I didn't either. I knew they'd release "Lap of Luxury" as a single, but I didn't know those were the B-sides.
Gotcha.
And the 12-inch. So I picked that up. I got "Freaks of Nature" by Kansas from '94. It's a 2015 pressing, though. I got
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it wasn't originally released on vinyl. It came out in '94. They did not originally press that in vinyl.
Oh, they didn't?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I got. You told me this was the English pressing. But the only thing I could find on Discogs to match up was a European pressing. So
no, same thing.
Same thing. But it's Counting Crows, Underwater Sunshine.
Well, because it's a movie, it's music on vinyl. MOV is out of the UK.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a 2019 pressing. It's white vinyl.
Okay.
I got the 2017 pressing of the Beatles' White Album. I picked up Broken Boy Soldiers by the Raconteurs. I haven't listened to any of their stuff yet. I love them. They're awesome. I also got Consolers of the Lonely by them, too, this month. I picked up Cat Stevens' Boot on the Chocolate Box because I needed that. That was a used copy. It was a original pressing.
Yeah.
I picked up No Earthly Connection by Rick Wakeman and the English Rock Ensemble.
Never heard of him before.
Rick Wakeman plays keyboards for Yes.
Yes.
The band Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mandy. Yes.
The band Yes. Ironically...
The band?
Yes.
Or the band?
I'm going to kill you.
Because there was a band called The Band.
Yes, there is. But there's also a band called Yes.
Yes.
Rick Wakeman on Teaser and the Firecat.
Wait, wasn't he in Harry Potter? I'm just joking.
What does that even mean?
Because Rick, what's his name, was in what's that guy that was in Harry Potter? Never mind. Just go on with the story.
Okay.
I was trying to be funny. Obviously not.
You're failing miserably today,
Thanks.
Nick. The song "Morning Is Broken" on Teaser and the Firecat, that piano in it is played by Rick Wakeman.
Hey, who originally wrote that song, by the way?
I think it's an old church song.
Is it? Okay. Because I know that I've seen 4 or 5 different versions of that.
It's an old church song. Because I remember singing it in church. I picked up Dookie, finally.
It's about time.
The 2009 pressing. I think that's it.
Yeah. Now here's a question, Ian. Do you have all your stuff on Discogs yet?
That's what I'm looking at.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Look at that. Is everything on there now?
Everything I own is on there now.
Wow.
So I finished it up the other day when
Sweet.
I got those new albums.
It makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, because that's how I just put it in order of what I put in. And originally when I started cataloging my stuff on Discogs, I was doing it at work, so I was doing it from memory.
Hopefully our boss doesn't hear this episode.
Why?
I did it on my break.
Oh.
I was doing it on my break. Breaks, multiple breaks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And so I was doing it from memory, and I knew I was missing some because I was only coming up with like 130 something.
Yeah.
And then when I went through the other day, because I picked up what did I pick up the other day? 4 albums?
Something like that.
No, I got 3 and then 2, so I got 5, I guess.
Yeah.
So I was putting those in the catalog and putting them on my shelf. I found a few others that I missed, so I'm at 152 officially now, and nowhere near your number.
No, but I was talking to Mandy about this a couple days ago too. Is that it's going to be now to the point where I'm probably not going to be buying a whole lot,
Right?
and unless I come along, like some of the stuff I stumbled across this month, or Mandy stumbled across. I mean, I got it because I got a smoking deal on it, or like I picked up Tupac's Greatest Hits. If you buy it brand new, it's like $80 or $90. And I got it. It was on sale for what, 40 or 45.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked up that.
There's a little story behind that, isn't there?
Is there? What's the story
About
behind
Mandy listening to that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead and tell your little story about listening to Tupac for the. Go ahead and tell the story.
Well, I just opened it up and turned it on, had all the windows open, blaring loud, and then I realized that there's inappropriate words.
Mandy had only ever listened to the edited versions of
That's
those
all
songs.
I ever listened to.
Well, because Mandy hears them on the radio and things like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad
no.
thing, but I'm just saying, having only heard the edited versions,
Yeah.
now hearing the unedited versions.
And I'm okay with some curse word, but there was...
Some of it's wildly inappropriate.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't curse words, it was actions. And
Yeah, lots of other things.
Well, I know, I've heard it.
While the small children were running about.
Yeah.
They were all outside, weren't they? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they could hear it.
Right.
Yeah, probably. And I'm sure Mandy was like, "Oh my gosh!" Oh.
You know what's so funny?
Mandy, I was at work, and I think when Mandy was telling me that story, and it's like I just pictured Mandy's face, like, "Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh,
Somebody turn it off right now.
what is that?"
I'm totally okay with that in my private time. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
You know
well,
what?
it's funny how that works, because, when you're a kid, you probably would have had no problem blaring that.
no, because I don't understand anything they're saying.
Yeah.
Right, but I meant even just listening to it casually and having it play with even all that language, the unedited version.
You probably wouldn't even notice it.
No,
wouldn't
you
even
wouldn't.
have paid any attention, but now, as an adult, approaching middle age, it's like, well, I'm referring to your husband.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Andy's got some time.
Yeah,
to go.
now that I'm 40, I'm so
Right.
old.
Hey, 40 to 50 is the decade of middle age.
40 is the new 25, man.
Yeah. Okay.
I do know what you're saying.
I'm
though.
way fatter than I was when I was 25, so I don't know what you're talking about.
So some of the other interesting things. So we picked up, and Mandy found this one. I think so. We went to a resale shop, and they had a bin out front of a bunch of $1 records, and Mandy found this. It's there's no artist or anything, it's not listed various artists or anything like that. It's just Airmen, U.S. Air Force Basic Training in Sound is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Have you listened to it yet?
Yeah. Sean and I started.
And what exactly is it?
It's literally them telling the men what to do on the field and what they're doing, their practice,
It's like drills,
Mm-hmm.
or okay.
Well, it's more than that too. But they're starting off, "Hey boys, we're gonna do this," and blah blah blah, and
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's from from
actually-
1959,
yeah.
so
Uh-huh.
it's tied for the oldest record I have.
oh, if Sean will really sit down and listen to it, I think he'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
But he was too busy.
yeah. And another one that Mandy had me pick up the other one, which is tied for my oldest records, is it's the Cinderella from Disney. It's a story song disc.
Mm-hmm. Which
I-
we already talked about. Yeah.
A little bit. I brought it up.
Oh, that's right. I don't know if we talked about it before the show.
No, I mean, we did, but...
No, it was during.
It was
but-
during, yeah. But
Gotcha. Yeah, so those are both from 59. So we also got Jack, our oldest, he's a big Fall Out Boy fan. And their first album, which is called Take This to Your Grave, if you buy it on Discogs or whatever, it's like $250. It's ridiculously expensive. But you can buy they've got a whole box set of all their studio recordings.
Which is 5 albums?
7.
7, okay.
7 records. And you can buy it, typically in stores, it goes from anywhere from, the cheapest I've seen it is $170 all the way to up about $200. Well, on Discogs, I don't know what this guy was doing, but he was selling it for, with shipping from Canada, it was like $85 total.
Right.
So I
And
bought
shipping from Canada is like $30 by itself.
25. It was $25 in shipping
Yeah.
alone. So I got this thing for $85 or $88, whatever it was, which is a whole lot cheaper than buying the first album, obviously. And then, so we only needed that record, and then there was another record. So we only needed 2 records out of the box, and then I sold all the rest of them.
Right.
So we ended up paying like, I don't know, $45 for these 2 records. So it's not a bad deal. So I got Take Us to Your Grave, which it's a 2018 repressing. Whatever, it sounds great.
Right.
I did pick up, huh?
Is that what that is?
That's as you're pointing to whatever, no one can
Well,
see.
that's why I kind of set it off mic a little bit because I was looking.
Yes,
at
I've got the
earlier.
box set. I didn't wear all my records shelves are full, so I had to move it to somewhere else.
It's you texted me a couple when this goes out, it'll be a week ago, but Ozzy's finally releasing all of his stuff on vinyl, not until November.
Oh, it's
Up
ridiculously
to
expensive though.
But it is. I looked at the package. It's got a lot of shit in it. It's $500, but it's got 16 albums, few more live albums, which I really don't care about. But it's got one that's all B-sides, unreleased material.
Mm-hmm.
Comes with 10 full-size 24 by 36 posters.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a very complete box set.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna buy it when it comes out. So, but it's got. I mean, several of his albums that are on there were either never released on vinyl or
they're ridiculously
super
expensive.
like $250 by
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
So
For $500, yeah, I won't be buying it. But
no,
That was
I can give you all my original pressings that
Sweet,
I have.
I'll take that.
So I mean, it's not all of them, but it's Blizzard of Oz through No Rest for the Wicked.
yeah. I did pick up an original pressing of London Calling by The Clash this month.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list.
It's a really good album. Something else that should be on your list: the official album of Disneyland, which is 1980 pressing that Mandy picked up.
Yeah, surprisingly that it's not on my list.
But it's pretty cool. It's like all the songs that they play in the park, isn't it?
Yeah, Haunted Mansion and all the.
Yeah, it's a small world, and
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I picked up a.
I grew up there.
no, that's fine for
so-
you. It's just like I wouldn't expect you to buy a Jethro Tull record.
No.
You can't. I would.
Except for when I was looking through the other day and I kept seeing them and I'm like, should I ask? Should I ask? Should I
I
ask?
have everything I need.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So-
Unless
Oh.
you roots to branches.
or apparently a Little Light Music, because I saw that at Deer World Music and didn't grab
Didn't,
it
right.
because I thought Ian had it, and it goes for $170 online.
Why?
No, 65.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was 65.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 100 and something.
No,
but
65.
still,
It's still $65.
Right.
Yeah. So it's probably the next one I'm going to buy from Discogs, but we'll see.
Ian spends more money than I do on records
No, I
No,
don't.
I don't think so.
on a per record basis.
Maybe the most expensive record I've bought I spent $60 on Catfish Rising. That's it. I've never spent more than $40 on an album before that.
Well, you said you're going to buy that Roots to Branches.
I am going to buy that Roots to Branches, and that's close to $200. But that's not yet. That's like Christmas time.
Yeah.
Right.
I did pick up it's Thelonious Monk, Paris 1969, which it's supposed to be a really good concert. I haven't listened to it yet.
Did you hear about this
really good album.
French guy who found a lost John Coltrane or Coltrane album?
I don't know, man. Freaking Coltrane. By the way, when you go through the releases for every week, there's a new Coltrane release every single week. His kids are bleeding that thing dry.
I'm just saying
the way
that
I
had
look
nothing to
at
do
it-
with the release. It was
I know that, but
this French guy found supposedly this lost recording of Coltrane. I just wondered if you heard it.
No, I haven't. But the way I look at it now is if it hasn't been released, it probably doesn't need to be released. Because if John Coltrane himself didn't want to release it, it probably, I don't know. It just because I'm not
If
joking.
that's the case,
and I'm
look
not
at
exaggerating.
look at all the Tupac songs you wouldn't get, and all the Prince music that we wouldn't have gotten.
But it's different though, because I'm not exaggerating. It's like every single week there's a new Coltrane release out.
Yeah,
Every
but if it's the same
single
stuff, that I agree with you. But if it's something new, something no one's ever heard before,
Yeah.
wouldn't you want to hear it?
I guess.
I would want to fucking hear it.
Because
It's like Beethoven's
originally
10th
when I was
Symphony.
going through stuff, I was like, oh man, that'd be cool to have. And I'll listen to some of the stuff online or through Apple Music. I'll listen to it, but I mean, I'm not gonna buy it on vinyl. As much as I love Coltrane, I mean, I'm not gonna.
If it was something new, I would buy it. Yeah. But like I said, it's like Beethoven's 10th Symphony. It doesn't exist. There's rumor that it was written.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. So I got NWA's greatest hits also this month. Yeah, I got a lot of rap. I picked up Jay-Z's Black Album. I got The Chronic by Dr. Dre. Mandy picked up some ABBA.
I did.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, you know.
Why?
Fuck ABBA.
Why?
No, God, no. I'm sorry. That's my personal opinion. I cannot fucking stand ABBA.
Mandy is a dancing queen.
I am.
Yeah.
Money, money, money.
Yeah, you were
It's a rich man's world.
you were rocking that for a couple of days, weren't you?
Oh yeah, every night in my sleep.
You can love
Waterloo,
it.
Really? Playing it in your head?
Mamma Mia, here I go again.
I feel
Chiquita.
I feel like tumors growing inside me when I hear that music.
It's not that bad.
I don't like ABBA. I'm sorry. I don't
No.
find anything redeeming in ABBA. Just my
There's women in it again.
No, that has nothing to do with it.
He's a sexist, isn't he, Mandy?
Yeah, I think so.
It has nothing to do with it. I like Fleetwood Mac. It's got Stevie Nicks. I like Tori Amos. Pat Benatar's awesome. I like her too.
Yeah.
I have nothing against women singers. They're not my favorite, but I have nothing against them. It has nothing to do with that.
Something else I picked up this past month, which I thought was really cool because I'd never seen it, and I didn't think it had ever been released on vinyl. It's called BYO Split Series Volume 3. And it's NoFX on one side doing Rancid songs.
Oh yeah,
And then
I remember
Rancid,
that.
On the other side, it's Rancid doing
NoFX
NoFX
songs.
songs.
I remember when you had that on CD.
It looks like it's never been played. Did I have it on CD? Yeah, I did.
You did. I remember you playing it for me.
Yeah, and it's great. I saw that in the store. I was like, holy shit!
Right. Yeah, that's a good catch.
And I got it for like $10 or $12.
Yeah, that's a good catch when you find something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Except for when we went to the vintage store where we were looking for the
Oh my
dollar
God.
records.
So I went through. Oh my gosh!
They had a NoFX vintage shirt.
Yeah,
$85.
that's insane.
I was like, they're not even that old.
Well, you could probably get that exact same shirt on their website for $20.
Right.
So I was going through. We went through the dollar bins out front of the store, and we grabbed, I don't know what it was, 4 or 5 records.
Mm-hmm.
And I go inside the store, and it's like, oh my God, there's like records everywhere. So I'm like going through the bins, and it's maybe it's just because I shop at Dearborn Music and I'm used to their price structure.
Right.
But there's a lot of stuff I saw in there that at Dearborn was like $10 or between $8 and $12.
Usually
used.
a new used is, that's used.
Right.
Yeah.
The highest you're ever going to see at a Dearborn is maybe $20.
Yeah.
If it's something special.
So it was stuff that I know I've seen at Dearborn for, like I said, $8 to $12. They were all at least $20 here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The other stuff, like the newer used stuff, that was, say, $15 to $18, $15 to $20 at Dearborn was $40
That's insane.
at this store.
It was insane.
I went through like 4 or 5 bins, and Mandy and the kids went to the car because I forgot where we had to be. But I started going through the bins, and I was like, I stopped. I was like, why am I even going? I'm not going to fucking buy any of this stuff.
Right.
Not at these prices. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't understand why people do that. They just either don't understand the industry or think they understand it better than they do because they think there's, it's a fortune that they're going to make.
No, it's not. I'm like, I can't believe people actually go in the store and buy records from them.
Right.
At these prices.
Well, people who don't, who might just casually go in there and go, oh, wow,
Even with the T-shirt, like, I know NoFX, but like, really, that's not a big band.
They're
like,
not
why would that be
band.
like?
Yeah.
It's not like a Beatles shirt from the 50s, or you know what I mean? Like,
and it was like, and so Mandy was showing me that shirt, and the lady that was working there was like, "Oh, I've got another one too," and she pulled another one out, and I didn't even look to see how much that was. It was probably the same price.
no, it was like 25, but still.
Oh, was it? Still.
For a used shirt. But, I mean,
it's used shirt? No.
Yeah, they're all used.
It was all used.
You can get a brand new shirt, like I said, on their website, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, vintage used.
Every band sells merchandise on their website.
Yeah.
you can go in there.
So yeah, I picked up Freak Show by Silverchair, which is that was a brand new reissue that they did this year.
Yeah. I created a want list on SRC Video that's in there.
Yeah.
So.
I got mine from Dearborn, but yeah, you can get it from SRC.
Yeah.
Mandy picked up 2 records by USA for Africa. So you picked up it was a 12-inch single of We Are the World.
Oh.
And then she also picked.
Sale.
No, that was all right because that's part of our growing up.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But she also, because originally, Mandy went to this yard sale because I think you saw it online, didn't you? That they were advertising records, and I was like, just FaceTime me when you get there, and we'll see what they've got. And she's like, she pulls out 2 We Are the World records, and she was like, well, which one do you want? And I was like, I don't know, it's $1. Grab both of them. I didn't know that one is just the 12-inch, and the other one's the full LP which is an entire album's worth of music. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. So we got both of them. Those are both 85 pressings. So they're both original. So that was kind of cool. I picked up, what else? I got this Footloose soundtrack, which I know Ian and I have talked about on the show.
Yeah, it's
before.
one I'm not big on soundtracks, but that's one I'd like to
Hey, but
get.
you know what? I paid $6 for that. So that was worth it.
Yeah.
And the cover was a little beat up on it, but whatever.
It's Footloose.
Yeah, I got the Hysteria reissue, which we talked about earlier. Let's see. I did get, I finished off my Pink Floyd collection. I got the soundtrack to More, which was from '68, I think it was, and Delicate Sound of Thunder. Both of those are the 2016 remasters. So I've now have all of Pink Floyd's studio albums and their live albums. I've got all the remastered editions. What was cool is I bought those 2 albums on what would have been Richard Wright's 76th birthday.
Oh.
Mandy, do you know who Richard Wright
No.
is? No. Richard Wright is their.
Just trying to contribute.
He was their keyboard player.
With my.
Yeah.
Did I mention I got Trey by Green Day?
You did not.
I got Trey by Green Day. So now only Green Day album I need is Dose. It's the only one I need. And then I'll have all of Green Day's albums.
Do they have one named Uno?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
Uno,
Oh.
Dose, and Trey.
Yeah. They were released like a month or 2 apart in 2012. So like
Gotcha.
they were supposed to be released like several months apart, but they for some reason got them out earlier than that.
Yeah.
But it's 3. It's like a triple album. You can when they came out on CD, you could buy them in a 3-pack. When
I didn't know that.
Dose Trey, yeah. But I like them for what they are. A lot of people aren't big fans. Like Uno, everyone likes Uno. Uno got rave reviews.
Yeah.
I love Uno. I think it's the better of the 3.
It is.
I don't know if I know any of them, do I?
No.
You should listen. I think there's some songs on Uno you would like. It's because it kind of goes back more to the lighthearted Green Day, especially coming off of 21st Century Breakdown.
Mandy was more like a poppy Green Day.
That's
like
what Uno is. Very pop.
Gotcha.
It's more like I would even say more Dookie-ish.
That's what I
Well, Dookie wasn't really like pop. When I say pop, I mean like Warning. Warning is a pop album, a pop punk album.
See, I know all of Dookie. I don't know if I know.
Warning. I'm sure. Have you heard?
Oh yeah, I know it, but I don't know. Is that an album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that song.
Yeah. I also picked up The Living End, which was it's probably it's their self-titled debut album.
It's on my list for sure.
Probably my favorite or one of my favorite punk albums of all time. I mean, it's a fantastic album.
Is, it really
Start
is
to finish, it's a fantastic album. Mandy came in today and had to tell me to turn it down.
Turn that music down.
There was a baby trying to go into
Yeah, there
sleep.
was.
Oh, okay.
But then I went in the room and she was watching TV, so
Yeah.
I was like, I can turn it back up.
Not our baby, by the way.
So there was one more.
I didn't know you had one.
There is
You're just like collecting them somewhere, like records. Like, hey, honey, I got 2 records and a baby.
Somebody just dropped him off at the garage sale. so-
Right.
There is one more. So there's one more record I want to talk about that I picked up. I didn't pick it up. It was sent to me. So it was my birthday just
Oh, yeah, you never
recently.
told me what this was,
And so my friend Corey, who I was in a band with a long time ago, and I've known him since
Kindergarten.
middle school. He was always a big Bad Religion fan, and I was. I won't
Back
say
and forth
I won't
on that.
say I wasn't a fan of their music. I just never really listened to it all that much. So he sent me a copy of Suffer, which is an album from 1988. And it was Suffer was the album that kind of reinvigorated the punk scene. And it really led to Green Day and everyone else that came after them. And I listened to it twice in one day. It's a fantastic fucking album. So Corey, if you're listening to it, thanks for sending it to me.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
It was.
You did tell him. Thank you.
I did. I did talk
Okay,
to him.
good.
Yeah, I did. I thanked him for sending it to me.
Okay.
And I even posted it on Instagram and tagged him in it.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, it's a great album. If you haven't heard it, if you're a punk fan, yeah, you definitely gotta listen to it. Suffer by Bad Religion. Yeah. It's got a lot of like, and it's not just like fast punk songs. It's fast punk songs with a message. There's political overtones to it, and
well, a lot of that earlier punk really was.
Yeah, and those kind of and that was the thing I liked about Living End is a lot of their songs were about something. There was meaning to the songs. You know, they had songs about a mass school shooting in Australia and things like that.
It was one of the last ones before they banned guns and didn't have any more shootings.
Yeah, they have since done though.
Just one.
Yeah, just one.
One shooting. We've had 250.
Right, every other week.
This month,
pretty much
this year.
Yeah,
But
this year.
I don't know. But that's. I mean, I picked up a lot of stuff. But like I said, there was a lot of the stuff I found. Like I said, I didn't buy a lot of like new stuff. I got a lot of used stuff and found some really good deals on stuff. I didn't spend a fortune on it.
Yeah, I mean that Rick Wakeman and that Cat Stevens I bought were used. I think the Cat Stevens one was $9 and the other one was $7.
Yeah.
So I did spend $41 on that Counting Crows though. So.
I've never heard it.
It's a cover album.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But none of the songs are all super famous. They're just songs that Adam Duritz and them liked as growing up or that influenced them.
That would be fun to do.
There's one song on there. I forgot who originally did it. It's called Amy. You would recognize the song. It's a famous song. But there's a song by...
Is that Angie's cousin?
What?
Angie? By the Rolling Stones? Just keep going at it. What the fuck? Why do we even fucking try?
Yeah, why do you try? You're not funny.
Because I figured you would know the song Angie.
I know the song Angie. I don't... What does that have to do with...
Should I have said Beth?
That's Kiss.
That's Kiss.
Well, there's Mandy by Barry Manilow.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Are they all cousins, Nick?
Yes.
I don't know. It's not a good joke. Try again.
They're all Pogo sisters?
Just try again. They do a song by Fairport Convention. And,
okay.
I don't know.
I
don't recognize a lot of the songs.
Okay.
Amy's
Amy's
the only one that when I heard it, I was like, I've heard this song before.
Gotcha.
So it either has more to do with the way they revigorated the songs or reimagined them, or I just don't know.
Gotcha.
So.
And sometimes those are the better cover albums.
Yeah, and that's
stuff
what I mean.
You don't really know of.
Exactly, because it's just
hearing a song.
it new and you're hearing it through interpreted through a band you like. So.
Yeah. But that's about all I had for stuff I picked up. I mean, it's I guess we all kind of grew up, like I said earlier, we all kind of grew up at the same time, and we all listened to records, and that's why, like, originally when I started thinking about a topic for this episode, it was more so along the lines of just memories from our childhood listening to records. Like, one of the first records, it's probably the first record I owned myself, and I remember this vividly, is sitting on my floor in my bedroom with, like, one of those plastic, I don't know if it's Fisher Price or whatever it was, record players. It is. And listening to Thriller. And I listened to Thriller like nonstop on that record player.
I had Thriller on cassette. So that was it. But even before that, I had my own record player. I'm talking like 4 or 5 years old. And the Robin Williams Popeye soundtrack.
Yeah.
I wore that damn thing out because I would listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
It was like you'd think I was a teenager in his room listening to rock music because I would just side A, side B over and over again. Yeah.
Which is what I did with Thriller.
Right. And Thriller was another one, and that kind of like bled into that.
Yeah. And that was probably
moved away from the Popeye.
Thriller came out in what,
83?
83?
Yeah.
So it was probably 84, 85.
Right. That's about when I got it too. Yeah. No, I think I got it that Christmas of 83.
Yeah.
If memory serves. It was either Christmas of 83 or Christmas of 84. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it was very early days. So.
Yeah. So it was like I said, 84, 85. I just nonstop playing that thing. I don't know. What about you, Mandy? You got any vinyl record?
I don't. I'm sorry.
No?
We listen to 8 tracks.
Well, what about
what's an 8-track that really stands out from you?
That's true, because you grew up, you lived with your grandparents a lot
did.
growing up, so
everything gospel. I have the Oak Ridge Boys. I mean, like, that was a big. I know that's not gospel, but
Might as well be.
Just a bunch of gospel. The four, I don't remember what they're called. 3, I don't know. You'd have to ask my nan, but I can't. So.
I can't, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. Ask my dad. He might know.
Yeah.
I just remember that's all we listened to was gospel. We sat and sang from the Bible every night. So, sorry, guys.
Well, I mean, with my grandparents, I had the same thing. My grandfather was relatively tech savvy, so he had a nice stereo.
Mm-hmm.
But
we did have a huge, and it had a record player with an 8-track player. Like everything was in it, and
yeah, we had one of those also.
Yeah,
my
I don't remember records.
My grandfather didn't own any records though.
You see, it's
just weird. He didn't own records because all he would listen to was country.
Uh-huh.
So
maybe that's what it.
My uncle would probably buy those country albums that he would like, and then just put them on tape. And my grandfather would listen to the tape.
To that, oh,
gotcha.
In his stereo, but he, 9 times out of 10, he would just put it on 104.7, which back in the 80s was country.
Country, yeah,
it's a country music station.
WOMC, no,
I don't think that's what it was called then, but it was 104.7. And I think that might be what it is now. I know that's 104.3 or whatever, but it was the country station.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And that's all he would listen to. And that was the 80s. So, I mean, new then would be some of Dolly Parton's stuff. And Reba McEntire was really new then. Yeah. But they, Kenny Rogers. And then going back even further, they played some of the older stuff too. Mm-hmm. So that's what I got at my grandparents' house. Now, my grandmother, my mom's dad had a bunch of records. And that was all like jazz, but it was mostly like... guitar players, like old school guitar players, Mason Williams type of stuff.
Okay.
Because that's what he liked. And he had a nice stereo. But I don't really listen. We never really listened to any of that stuff over there. My grandfather died when I was 7. So when he died, my grandmother just never really messed with his stereo or anything. But, I was always bringing music over because I was over at her house all the time. So I was always listening to stuff. She didn't get it. Alice, I think, was kind of pushing the limits of her.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure the only thing I listened to, well, not only, I listened to everything growing up except for like heavy metal. But I did get that from my stepdad. But it was all oldies, so it was all Motown stuff, and then 50s, 60s pop bands or whatever you want to call them. And then my mom was always into Def Leppard and those kind of things.
Hard rock kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And I got more of the rock stuff from my dad, and my mom's second husband, because he had a huge record collection. His record collection was bigger than Nick's.
My record collection is not that big, by the way.
It's big enough.
I've got 370 records.
Considering we've only been at this for less than a year.
No, it's been longer than that.
No, it's been a year. I looked back. It was like June of 2018. So I guess it's a little more than a year. But
all right. Anyway, I would say he probably had twice as many as what you got.
Yeah.
So, and then my dad, obviously, and it was all classic rock for him too. That kind of stuff. So, that was kind of the influence I got. Now, again, though, like with my grandfather's always country, when I was at home, my mom's second husband, during the day, it was always music on. It was always, if it wasn't the radio, he was playing records or whatever. So, so it's just, like it's just growing up with it. It's like, I wasn't into, Creedence Clearwater Revival when I was 7 or 8 or 9, but now as an adult, and hearing it now, and of course with him, actually he was a big Pink Floyd fan, so I got most of my Pink Floyd experience through him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I remember and I probably had to been pretty young. It was mid 80s, 86, 87, something probably around those years. I remember sitting in the living room, and we had a fireplace, one of those stone fireplaces, and we had one of those cast iron popcorn makers. And I remember my dad put on an Alabama record and making popcorn in the fireplace. Just one of those. I don't know.
And Alabama is kind of one of those almost crossover bands because they could be country, they could be rock.
Yeah.
I never thought.
Most people classify them as country.
Yeah.
They are country,
but I think they fall under a rock category in most
some of their stuff maybe. Yeah. I remember buying Appetite for Destruction on vinyl when it came out.
Yeah.
And I mean
up
until let's see, my parents moved in I moved out in 1999. So until I moved out, I was still listening to that same copy of that record.
Yeah.
Because I was late to CDs.
CD, yeah.
I don't think I bought my first CD until I graduated high school.
What?
Yeah, he was still rocking the tapes.
I was tapes and records.
Wow.
Like I remember when I was, so Corey and I used to go to flea markets, and this was like mid '90s.
Wow.
We'd go to flea markets and buy like all these great like old staple records. You know, like Dark Side of the Moon, a lot of Eagle stuff. Because you get it all for like $1 or $2,
Right.
because everyone got rid of their records, and it was awesome.
There was no like market like there is now. It was people just kind of getting rid of it. Instead of throwing it away, let's get $1 for it or whatever.
Yeah. So we go. There was a flea market in Ipsy that Corey's stepfather Kermit used to take us to, and we'd go there a couple times and just like I said, $1, $2, $3, pick up just about everything. You know, like I said, a lot of staple stuff.
Yeah.
And I had my parents' record collection. My dad he had like Jethro Tull and things like that. And like I remember like my mom had Iron Butterflies in Agata Davida, and I remember like I used to go get stoned and come home and put that record on and listen to because
it's the only way you can really listen to that.
It's the only way that song makes sense. But it's supposed to be,
I don't even think it still makes sense. It's just it's okay to listen. You can listen to it sober.
Yeah.
Because I have. But I don't think you can appreciate it unless you're at least high.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I read somewhere that the song was supposed to be in the Garden of Eden, but they were so fucked up that it ended up being in Agata Davida.
I think that's one of those
urban legends.
Yeah, urban legends, yeah.
Sounds accurate, though.
It does. It really does.
So
it's just amazing.
So my parents are listening to this episode. Yeah, they know I used to come home high. And
they already knew, Nick. They may not have known at the time, but they know since then. I'm sure.
I remember listening to that song over your mom's house too.
Well, it wouldn't have been on.
No,
vinyl,
it was on CD.
It was on CD,
yeah.
or cassette or whatever. Because I, as soon as I got a CD player, my mom made me get rid of my record player because apparently you can't have two forms of media.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. She let me keep the records I got from my dad, and that was about it. Everything else had to go.
Yeah, so it kind of sucks. I mean, I didn't have a big record collection. I mean, my parents had a pretty decent one, and then over the years, they would, I don't know, throw them out or whatever. But when I was like, I don't know, it was probably around that same time that I was buying them with Corey is when my parents gave me their records. They had them in a box up in the closet forever.
Right.
And they didn't have a whole lot. It was probably 30, 40 records in there. And so I remember I probably had, not a whole lot, maybe 70 records when I moved out. And then when they moved to Tennessee in 2007, they pitched them all.
Yeah.
Which sucks because, like, my dad had Led Zeppelin 2 original pressings and things like that. Well, I'm assuming they're original pressings. But, because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what a run-out groove was then. I didn't know what a matrix was. I didn't know how to look up any of that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, and
now with Discogs, you can look in the run-out groove and tell exactly what copy it is and what planet it came out of and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing what probably ended up in the trash from not just our collections, but
everybody's.
From everybody's, yeah. Some landfill somewhere is holding a fortune.
But I did that with all my CDs. When we moved in 2008,
I sold all mine.
I digitized all my CDs and put them all on the curb.
Yeah, there's a few collectible ones that I kept, but everything else I sold off. You know, it's just because it's, I don't know. There's just I never felt the collectability. I never felt the connection to CD the way that I feel to vinyl, and even felt when I was a kid to vinyl. Even though I did. Just because
I said I did. I missed my big yellow book that I had.
Yeah.
But see, that's what
had
I did.
300 CDs in it. And
it just felt so disposable.
Just sat in my car. No, it was so wonderful.
It's fine for you. I get it, but it was so. It's just
because I was always in my car and.
Right.
And
it created.
It was easy. It was easy just to flip CDs in there, and
but it did create this odd, weird, like detachment from the music. And the day when all we had was 8 tracks or cassettes or vinyl, there's kind of in order to truly appreciate, you kind of had to listen to the whole album.
Yeah, there was no skipping songs.
With CDs, it was just super easy to skip songs, pop one out, pop another one in while you're driving.
Yeah.
And I mean, streaming has made that even worse.
Yeah.
But streaming is, I think, a byproduct of that.
Yeah.
It's the extension of that. And I think going back to vinyl, you can learn to appreciate complete packages.
Yeah, I think you get a better feel of what the artist's message was for the album.
But the other thing intention
is,
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're listening to a record and you come across a song you don't really like, you're like, it's only like 3 minutes. I'll just
You listen to it though, and you might find something.
Unless you're me, and then you go pick the needle up and
Mandy's
skip
like,
to the next song.
When I was a kid, I would. I would.
I didn't
would
scratch anything. I pick it up gently. And
when I was a kid,
I know how to move a needle.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was a needle jumper too.
Yeah.
But as an adult, because I spent a fortune. So for me, it's a fortune. Nowhere near what you've spent, but it's a fortune for me on these records, and I don't want to have to buy new needles and new cartridges and all that stuff. I
only do it on mine. I would never do it on Nick's CD.
I don't
albums.
I don't needle bounce anymore. But when I was a kid, I needle bounced all the time. Yeah, because you can see where the lines are.
Yeah.
Now,
unless you're Mandy,
this is a little. I
do. I just start it a little too early.
Yeah,
Everybody gets
I do
so
the same
mad,
thing.
but I want to hear the beginning of the song.
And I've gotten. I mean, I'm pretty good at skipping songs, and I can skip a song without it like scratching or anything like that.
Oh, I was a pro as a kid. I mean, seriously, I could generally skip a song without a scratch or anything, and no runoff from the song on either side.
Yeah.
I could get it right in the middle. I'm gonna hit you with a little side story. Side topic. There's a YouTube video or YouTube site, and it's F.A.M.E, I think it's called.
Okay.
And what it is, he finds old, like, those vinyl movies.
Yeah.
He finds like old players and rebuilds them and makes them work. He found it. I never knew this existed. Sharp made a record player that played like a CD player, where you could skip songs by a push of a button and listen to both sides with just a push of a button.
That's what I need.
It's basically the tray fault comes out. You put your record on it. It's got a needle underneath and a needle on top.
Really?
And it slides in. And you can pick songs. It's got a laser in the cartridge. So when you say you want to listen to song 4, you push song 4. It'll scan over the record
to find
the breaks, and then it'll go right to that song automatically.
Really?
Yeah. Sharp made them in 1983. I think it was the 83-84 tech season they came out.
Really?
And this was right when CDs were coming out.
Wow.
And I just thought it was really cool. I don't think I'd want one because it does take away the physicality of watching the record spin. Yeah. You can't see the record spin, and again, the needle placement and all that. But just as a I didn't know that I didn't think that it ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it was Sharp's way of kind of not combating CDs, because they had their own CD market at the time too, but a way to kind of give record buyers a way to have that same
experience.
Cool. Yeah. It was really neat. He couldn't play any of the music because he didn't know copyright issues on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
we know all about that.
He said the sounds great. Sounds just like a normal record. He did have to do some work on it. A lot of his little plastic pieces, he had to buy a $10 plastic piece for it in the video.
Oh, I would just like 3D print them.
Oh, he said you could, but he said he doesn't have a 3D printer, so Yeah. But because he did suggest that, he says if you had a 3D printer, you could have 3D printed it.
Yeah.
And that was just for the door to come out, and he did have to replace the belt because it is a belt drive. But it was just it was kind of neat. And it was all, like I said, it was all push button. It was no no dials.
That's cool.
It had 1 through 7. So as long as there wasn't more than 7 songs on a side, obviously you could just go to any track you wanted on each side.
So obviously you couldn't play a punk album in that.
Probably not. Yeah, the Misfits. I think there's
a punk album. It's like you get 20 minutes per side, so they've got like 45 songs in there.
Oh,
or we'll say at least 20 songs. On
a minute and a half per song.
Right.
Oh yeah, some of them are.
Some of them, yeah. But I just thought that was kind of neat.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you should look up the video. Like I said, I think the YouTube channel is F.A.M.E, and if it existed, weird technology like that, he's probably got it on his site.
That's cool. I'll check it out for sure.
He did the video discs, which is vinyl,
yeah,
but a movie.
Isn't that what we were just talking about?
No, we were
Or no?
talking about LaserDiscs.
This was pre-LaserDisc, or
Gotcha.
at least at the same time.
Well, Mandy and the kids didn't even know what a LaserDisc was.
No.
Well,
Sorry.
Yeah, it was basically.
Well, no, it was like that was out. It was before us, basically. But
Gotcha.
It was 80s.
it was
It was
80s.
80s
But
technology.
like nobody had LaserDisc players.
My dad did.
Ian's dad was the only person I knew that had a LaserDisc player. The only person.
My dad
Again,
loved
I
his-
lived with my grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad loved his LaserDisc player. He loved his DVD player. I had to convince him to buy a 4K player though.
I
Which
don't
is
even
weird.
know what that is.
He's one of those people. If he will never go back to vinyl, to him it's going backwards,
Antiquated.
antiquated. Because when CDs came out, he was very willing to just get rid of all of his records, and I'm going CD now. So, but yeah, he's always been kind of trying to be on the forefront of the tech stuff,
Yeah.
picking up the new stuff.
Yeah, he's
LaserDisc
always
was-
been like that.
Yeah, LaserDisc was just one of those things that got caught up, and it didn't last long, and there wasn't a lot of things he had for it, but when it was new, he got it. So
So I guess like moving on a little bit, it's like if you were sitting down with somebody and they were like, "Hey, I'm going to start a record collection, but I don't know what to buy." What are some of like the essential records that you think that someone should have in their collection?
well, I guess it would depend on taste, wouldn't
It
it?
is.
And that's why I kind of wanted to have Mandy's opinion here also because
Well, I guess all I can tell you is
because
if
Ian and I
was
are going to ramble off a bunch of like
the
rock.
same
Rock,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. The only way I can answer that question is to say, what would I want starting my collection off?
Yeah.
I mean, what are albums I know that I'd want to have that I may have now or will be getting? I would say for a rock fan, you're always going to go to the Beatles. I mean, that's kind of any of the Beatles. Some people prefer the older era. Some people prefer the younger era. Some people like both equally. I'm in the middle. I like both.
Do you
eras.
listen to everything on there and
Yes.
enjoy it?
The
though?
kind of the way I kind of looked at this though was like, look, if I'm going to sit down and kind of like think of 10 to 20 albums. I kind of wanted to, if there was an artist that had multiple, I kind of wanted to keep it to one
Sgt.
album.
Pepper.
If there's one
Right.
album from any artist.
All right, you have to if you're gonna have a Beatles, you have to have Sgt. Pepper.
Okay.
If you're gonna have Led Zeppelin, it's got to either be Led Zeppelin 2 or Led Zeppelin 4.
I said 4.
I think
2 is a good album. I think 4
I think 2 is a much more complete album.
maybe, but 4 has, I think, When the Levee Breaks is a fantastic
It's
song.
probably one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs.
And to listen to that song on vinyl
Oh, I bet
is
because I haven't done it yet.
It's
Not
incredible.
since I was a kid, anyway.
It's an incredible song.
Because it was one of the ones I got lost.
Yeah.
The original.
But yeah,
purge
that
of records.
song, that was like, as soon as I got that record, I was like, man, I got to play this just for that song.
No, you're right. But you're basically getting an album of good songs with 2 or 3 really, really good songs, whereas Led Zeppelin 2 is an album of all really, really good songs. I mean, I can't think of one bad one on it.
I
There's
can't think of any.
No,
Sorry.
Mandy's probably never heard of.
I probably have not.
You've heard the songs on the radio.
I probably
I'm
just
sure- I'm
don't
sure
know.
you
See, that's the thing. Most of Led Zeppelin 2 overall has been played on the radio. Now, I mean, it's arguably so is Led Zeppelin 4, but
Yep.
there's a few songs that aren't big radio plays, whereas the vast majority of Led Zeppelin 2 is been heavy rotation on radio stations.
But at least with Led Zeppelin 4, obviously "Stairway to Heaven" is a song
Yeah.
that is probably the most recognizable
For me,
song
it's
of their career.
The 3 songs on that album that stand out is "Stairway to Heaven," "Misty Mountain Hop,"
And
When
When
the
the
Levee
Levee
Breaks.
Breaks, yeah.
And if I had to throw a fourth one, it is Battle of Nevermore.
Yeah, that's a good song also. 4 is a really good album.
I don't think I ever heard of Stairway to Heaven until I watched Wayne's World and he went to go buy his guitar.
Yeah, that's funny.
And they said, "We could
No
play
stairway denied.
And I was like, what does this mean?
Yeah, what is that? For me, like number 1 would be "Dark Side of the Moon." I guess it's
See,
it's kind of hard to argue. It's the third most highest sold album of all time. I mean, it just
again, if it's me and I had to pick a Pink Floyd album, it would be The Wall.
yeah. I mean, The Wall's a good album too. I think.
Only because
Like-
I have the movie as a.
But the funny thing
counterpoint
is,
to
you
that.
almost have to not count that in because the album, and that's so weird for us to go through because we were like musically conscious after the movie was made.
Right.
When that album was made, there was no movie. There was no plan for a movie. So that's why to listen to some of the stuff on the album, it's almost kind of weird to think of it like this is just an album.
Right.
Of all these songs. But
I've always seen them as two separate entities, but it's as they can work as companion pieces. Because there's a lot on the album that's not in the movie.
No, but the final cut was originally going to be the soundtrack for the Wall movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which I've never actually listened to yet.
The final cut? Yeah. I mean, it's okay. Richard Wright wasn't on the album because Roger Waters fired him. And
the more I hear about Roger Waters, the less I really
You know what, though?
dig him.
Like, it goes both ways because David Gilmour is equally to blame for all of it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, Roger Waters, over the last couple of years, has made efforts to get back in touch with David Gilmour, with Nick Mason.
I thought every time they ask him, he says no.
It's the other way around. David Gilmour wants absolutely nothing to do with. So after they all got together, what was that, 2008 or 2005, whenever it was, and they played like the last Pink Floyd show. In interviews after the fact, they were asking Roger Waters, would he like to do some more of this in the future? And he's like, in more so words, he was, I'm open to, to see what the future has. And David Gilmour's response was, no, this won't happen again. This is the last one.
Huh.
So yeah,
he must have had a really bad fall off.
Well, of course. I mean, but I think they're equally to blame for a lot of the stuff that happened to Pink Floyd. And it just, I don't know. When I think of Dark Side of the Moon, and I know you're not a fan of the album, but
I like songs on it, but
it was such a revolutionary album. Like a lot of the things musically that they did on that album don't really seem revolutionary now, but at the time of the release of the album, at least in mainstream music, that kind of stuff wasn't out there. That kind of
perhaps,
and they laid a lot of that groundwork to maybe not so to have that kind of music, that progressive kind of sound existing, but I think they created an element to make it more accessible in mainstream music.
Perhaps for whatever it's worth, it worked. The album sold fantastically. It's considered one of the great albums of all time. I mean, I don't have to like it.
Yeah. And going back to the Beatles, if I was going to pick one Beatles album, I think it would be Abbey Road.
No, I personally, no, that's tough because it does.
Of course, all this is like personal.
It's personal, but I don't know.
For Mandy,
tough. I mean, pick an album just for your own personal. If you were creating your own personal collection,
let's say your sister came up to you and your sister was like, "Hey,
I only have one."
Dixie Chicks.
Yep, Wide Open Spaces.
That's it. If you were like to go,
I guess that's a good start. But that's your starting album. You have to have that one.
Yes, because I'm not an album kind of
and that's
person.
A great album. I mean, for being country music, I mean, and I'm not a big country fan. That's a really good album.
I'm a greatest hits kind of girl. I'm a one-hit wonders kind of girl. So I like it when it's the ABBA's greatest hits, when it's the Carpenters' greatest hits. I love.
Which we got the Carpenters' greatest hits.
Yeah,
last week.
I forgot to mention because I remembered you. Saw
there was a long conversation on Facebook about that album. Actually.
Was there?
Yeah.
I think there was just comments a couple of days ago about it too.
Mm-hmm. Good ones or bad ones?
Good. Good. Everybody loves the Carpenters. I mean.
I don't love the Carpenters, but I'll take the Carpenters over ABBA any day.
I'm just a one-hit wonder girl.
But it doesn't have to be an album. You can say
singles. I mean, you can buy 45s
or ABBA's greatest hits. That's an album.
Yeah, the Eagles' greatest hits is one of the best-selling albums of all time.
I think it's number 2 or number 1.
It was number 1 for a while.
That's a good one.
I think it is number 1. I think it passed Thriller. I think recently.
So
pretty sure my dad made me watch that video, like
Eagles
video.
Hell Freezes Over.
And actually, I think I have Hell Freezes Over on my list. That's a fantastic album.
I'm not an Eagles fan, so
I was so excited because it was. So it came out in '94, I want to say, and the vinyl copies of it were ridiculously expensive. Then Ian and I earlier this year were at a store out in Royal Oak, and I got so excited when I found it on vinyl. I didn't know it was being reissued. And I actually dropped the damn thing.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Smash.
No, it was fine, though.
That's how I'd feel, honestly, if I came across a Roots to Branches in a store.
Yeah.
That's kind of I'd almost fall over and faint. You know,
I mean, Hell Freezes Over. It was a fantastic concert.
If you're an Eagles fan, I totally agree. I'm not an Eagles fan, so it just.
I don't really think I'm an Eagles fan, but I feel like the music.
You're familiar with the songs.
So many good songs.
I was gonna say it's just it appeals to a range of people. I guess.
I guess,
don't know.
just not me.
Yeah,
I know I'm not alone. There's got to be other people out there who don't like the Eagles. I just don't like the Eagles.
Along those same like 70s, albums, I think "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road" by Elton John.
That would be, I could say that should be on a list.
"Paranoid" by Black Sabbath, I think would be something that I
can think of. Volume 4, I think might be a
Volume
better.
4. I don't know. So I kind of went back and forth because, like I said, I only wanted to have
one or two,
one album from an artist. So I kind of went back and forth between "Paranoid" and Volume 4.
Paranoid is probably more accessible because it's a little bit more simplistic.
But "Paranoid" is like every single song on "Paranoid" is such a fantastic song.
Same with Volume 4.
It is. I don't know. Just
that's why "Paranoid" is just it's the more simplistic, so it's probably more accessible for the mass audience. Whereas Volume 4 is a little bit more. There's a little bit more going on because it's a progression of a band.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, me it'd be Volume 4. You "Paranoid." We don't have to agree.
"Harvest" by Neil Young is another fantastic album. What's up, Mandy?
I don't know any songs on there. Do I?
From Neil Young?
I don't know any Neil Young songs.
Probably not.
No.
What's on? I'm trying to think of what's on "Harvest." She has to know something off that album.
"Needle and the Damage Done." It's a fantastic song.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think she would be aware of it.
What about "What's Going On" by Marvin Gaye?
Yeah, that's a fantastic.
That's a fantastic album. Trying to think of some other ones from that. "Who's Next" by The Who.
Yeah.
I'm not a Who fan. That's a really good album, though.
Yeah.
That's got Bob O'Reilly on it.
Yeah, "Behind Blue Eyes."
Yeah. Or as some like millennials
Teenage
Wasteland. Yeah,
Wasteland.
millennials know the song as "Teenage Wasteland."
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even just blame millennials because I mean there's probably people who grew up in that era who are like,
Yeah.
Play "Teenage Wasteland." It's Bob O'Reilly.
What
Play
about
"Teenage Wasteland"?
What about
No, that's fine.
What about "A Night at the Opera" by Queen?
Yeah, it would. I mean, for me personally, it would be in my list.
I think
it's
on
my
one of those,
list of albums.
I think it's
I
one of those
get.
essential albums.
Yeah, it's on my list of albums I want to get.
Yeah,
I don't have it yet.
"Dookie" by Green Day.
Dookie.
I was just gonna say that.
August and Everything After.
Yeah, that's another good
Or
one.
"Recovering the Satellites." That's a tough call.
Yeah, that is.
Because I mean, I really go back and forth too. Because I mean, obviously, "August and Everything After" is a debut album, but "Recovering the Satellites" for a second album, like a follow up to a good album, was arguably better. That doesn't happen very often.
No, I kind of have that same feeling with Bush. 16 Stone is a great album.
You're right.
Razor Blade Suitcase is a fantastic
arguably
album.
better. It's a better album. Yeah. So it's tough with those situations.
I kind of go this back and forth. I was going back and forth between the Black Album or "Injustice for All." I end up landing on "Injustice for All."
I think "Injustice for All" would be my choice too. But as far as Metallica goes, between those two, Master of Puppets is my favorite. So I would have to say that was.
What you doing over there, Mandy? What's Siri doing?
Accidentally hit the button.
Master of Puppets would be my Metallica choice, but if I had to choose between the Black Album and "Injustice for All," tough call, but "Injustice for All" I think would win that.
And another one, and I kind of consider this probably like the last kind of iconic rock album, which is The Black Parade. By my
I don't know if it's iconic because I mean
I think it's probably the last truly.
I'd have to listen to it. I've never listened to it.
It's a fantastic album.
So
and it was it was a gigantic hit when it was out. And I don't know. What's some other ones? Mandy, you got anything?
I only have one more.
No, even if it's just singles, even because you said you like one-hit wonders.
What are things you would like to have?
Because if it's a song, I'm sure back in the day everything was released on single. So the 45s.
The Ever Passing Moment. MXPX.
Yeah, I would love to. That wasn't. I don't think they. Okay, so I think that was. Yeah, they did release that on vinyl, but yeah, that would be a great one to have.
Mm-hmm.
So okay.
Yep.
But I'm sure there's. What songs from the 80s do you remember liking?
Cars. That one with the video.
Yeah, with
drive.
the chick and the I don't remember
what was
that song either. I don't remember it either.
It was the Cars,
Yeah.
but as everyone reaches for their phones.
I don't remember that song, but I know which one you're talking about.
I mean, obviously, I listened to pop stuff, so it was Tiffany and Debbie Gibson.
Sure.
And I don't know if they were the 80s, but that's
they
not,
were
the 80s.
That was
it's
the
not
early
really
80s, yeah.
stuff that I want, though.
Fair enough.
It's
well,
not.
there's stuff that Motley Crue is an example. I probably will never own any Motley Crue.
Yeah.
If I do, it might be 1 or 2 albums tops.
Yeah.
Just what I needed?
No.
I don't think
Is that
so.
not the...
It's You Drive Me Crazy. Or no, you drive. I don't know. Something about driving. Something. I think. I don't know. Once I hear it. And then the other one with all the famous people and the puppets.
Oh, that was Genesis.
Yes, creepy as hell.
Land of Confusion. See, I love that song.
I do
and
too.
it sucks because the album was called The Invisible Touch.
Uh-huh.
I had it on cassette. I loved every song on that album.
Uh-huh.
Now, when I go back and listen to that album, the only song that really I like is that one.
That one.
Really?
So, yeah. And then there was it their self-titled one or Duke? I can't remember. It was one that came out in 83. That came out in 86.
Mm-hmm.
Invisible Touch was 86. Whatever it was 83. I can't remember if it was, like I said, called Genesis or it was Duke. But that was one as a kid I couldn't listen to. Now I like almost every song on that album. It's so weird.
I mean, obviously, I loved a lot of Bon Jovi, but I've heard so much of it.
It's not Good Times Roll by the
No.
Connors.
No.
I don't know. I'm just going through their videos, and I really don't see it.
Yeah.
We've got some Bon Jovi.
My Best Friend's Girl, Good Times Roll.
Was it...
You're All I've Got Tonight, Bye Bye Love, Moving Stereo, Let's Go, It's All I Can Do, Dangerous Type, Touch and Go, Shake It Up, Since You're Gone, I'm Not the One.
You might think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's You Might Think. That's the name of the song.
Okay.
You
there
might
you go.
think. Yep.
So I'm sure that was on 45.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find that. Dearborn Music has a really huge selection of 45s.
Yeah, they do.
But I think I just like it because of the video. Because we
It's
grew
a good
up
song,
with
though,
MTV.
also.
Yeah, I don't know though, because I've never listened to it without the video.
See, that was one. See, I went back and forth when I was a kid. We either had cable or we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was played on the radio. I have very strong memories of hearing it while driving in the car.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
that's
I also
true.
have strong memories of seeing the video.
The video.
So it's
Channel 33. If you could just get it back again.
That's kind of the other thing about that I really enjoy about listening to records is it's like you're able to like transport yourself back
to a time when you remember hearing it for the first time or whatever.
Yeah, so that's always kind of cool.
I mean, it's true of a lot of
I
things.
was
It
just
is.
any music.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even smells do that.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. That's true.
But there's
it's
a
just-
connection to music because it's more than just a smell. It's, you're experiencing it necessarily through what a memory or
yeah.
what the song says to you, if it says anything at all. And it
Yeah.
just could be a...
I guess Temptations and Four Tops would be another big one of mine.
Oh, yeah.
They do their greatest hits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's true.
I think
Those would be good ones to
that
have.
was my second concert was Temptations.
Was it?
Yeah.
You like oldies, like 50s, anything by Dion?
Wait, like Dion in the
Yeah, I can't remember the group.
yeah.
Dion and the whatevers.
Yeah.
Basically, if
Darn
if there's a pop hit from the 50s, Dion probably recorded it.
The little
Yeah.
doggone.
I actually had their greatest hits, which, by the way, is like 800 songs, on a playlist. I just put the album on a playlist that was with a bunch of other songs. And
Dion and the Belmonts?
Yes, yeah.
I'm thinking of somebody else then. Go ahead.
Anyway, so there's like 800 songs, so every song that played in Shuffle was a fucking Dion song.
These
No.
people.
Oh no. Oh, I mean.
Yeah,
I,
I mean, let me look.
I
and
didn't
see.
listen
I don't
to
know.
a lot
I
of
don't
white
know
people from the Motown era. Sorry.
This wasn't
Dangy
Motown.
white people?
This was 50s. This was like bubblegum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What about another one I didn't think about until just now? What about Social Distortion? Their self-titled album.
self-titled for me, probably.
That'd be a good one to have.
Yeah.
Sublime self-titled album.
See, I didn't really get into Sublime so much, but
Yeah.
I
But
can see-
Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. That'd be a great one to have.
between that and Siamese Dream,
I almost have to go with Melancholy.
well, there's more music there, more
Yeah.
to work with, for sure. Run Around Sue was a Dion song.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I know them all.
Dream Lover. I mean,
Dream Lover.
yeah.
So I don't have. But Penguins.
Yeah.
Earth Angel.
Of course. That's something-
Teenagers.
We should get that on vinyl. We don't have that.
Well, I have it on a mixed one.
Oh, that's
pretty
right. You
sure.
got the oldies record.
I have like 3 of them.
Yeah.
I think.
You notice how she said she? She has them.
Well, they're
mine.
hers.
I know.
I bought them.
They're hers.
I know.
How many records do you have, Mandy? 5?
Probably.
More than that.
10? How many do you have, Nick? Minus the 10 that you don't.
360.
She's got more than 10.
So do you.
I don't really know.
By like 30 times.
And Jack probably has, I'd say, well, between Jack, Reese, and Sean, they've probably bought
40, maybe?
something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really matter numbers.
No.
But,
No.
I don't know. Another one, I guess
He does say that because he's got the highest number, but
it doesn't matter. No, it has nothing to do with it. And I would probably have to put Nirvana's MTV Unplugged on there.
yeah.
It just
No, I agree. And
even
it's
though
tough because you want to put like Nevermind and then your own.
no, because I think,
But I
like,
think Unplugged kind of captures a band that is better than its some.
yeah, because I think a lot of people look at like the grunge and alternative music from the early '90s, and I think a lot of people think it's just a bunch of kids bang on instruments that have zero musical talent. And I think the MTV Unplugged show really showed that they were actually musicians, that
Right.
they could play their instruments.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and it's a fantastic album, and the songs on there are great.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's showing a band that's progressing and greater than some of its previous parts.
Yeah, Donald Mandy was not a Nirvana fan. At all.
Well, no.
Oh, the dogs are barking.
Somebody's here.
Yeah, they're here for.
The dogs haven't.
We're supposed
made
to be leaving soon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Anyway, I don't mind Nirvana. The other grunge stuff, I didn't get
See,
into.
I find it. I would think you would like Pearl Jam or say something
No, I
like.
couldn't stand his voice.
But he sings, whereas Kurt Cobain's not really singing
Yeah, he's kind of
necessarily
more-
by your
not always.
usual standards.
Yeah,
Whereas
I guess,
Eddie
I don't
Vedder
know.
is actually trying to sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, more so than Kurt Cobain was.
I guess I had a lot of friends that liked both, but I had one particular friend that was a huge Nirvana friend, so that's all we listened to all the time. So maybe it just kind of.
Stuck with you more.
Yeah.
I did have another one I thought of is any Beach Boys, like a
Oh, yeah.
greatest Beach Boys hit.
Actually, we
like,
got the Beach Boys' greatest hits not too long ago.
Yeah.
We haven't listened to it though. Yeah, I guess we should probably wrap this up since we're supposed to be leaving to go
Like
somewhere.
15 minutes.
Yeah, in like 15 minutes. But
And then it's been well over an hour.
over an hour and 20 minutes. So
Wow. I think this is our longest episode with Mandy.
maybe our music episodes are typically like an hour and a half long though.
Yeah.
So
we're cutting it short.
we're cutting this short one.
we could have cut 15 minutes.
That's
We,
all right.
we could have, but, you know,
Mandy makes the show better, so that's why we try to
Yeah,
have her on.
right.
You do.
you add dimension to
You
our
do.
show.
Depth.
Because I say, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then I look at you guys and nod my head and then realize nobody can see me nodding my head when I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. And yeah, no,
I don't know. Well, thanks for being on the show, Mandy.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
We love it.
You
when
don't
you're
have to keep saying
This
that.
is like the
I know, because you're like the third member of the show anyway.
Mandy's been on like I don't know, a quarter of our shows or something like that.
No, no.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Really?
It's been well over 10 shows that you've been on.
Well, that's not a quarter. Is
It's
it?
not, but
Yeah, I am the math genius here. So
it's almost a quarter.
not, you've only had 40 shows.
We've done
No, because
86 shows.
Thank you.
no, because it's been more than 10. I want to say it's been like 15, almost 15.
Well,
16
she would
shows.
have to have been on 20 shows to be
A quarter.
even close to a quarter because we're at 86.
Well, that's true. We are at 86. Whatever. Fuck you people.
Again.
All right, you know what? Screw you. You're fired, man. You won't be on another show from now on.
Oh, thank God. Stay upstairs and
What do I
watch
have to
TV
do
by
to-
myself.
What do I have to do to get fired?
Not bring notes. Oh, yeah, you're fired.
I've been doing that since the beginning.
Dumbass.
Hey, I didn't bring notes either.
Yeah.
Touche.
I never do, actually.
No. But you get away with it. He doesn't give you a hard time.
No, I can't.
That's true.
He's got to come home.
Yeah.
Right. Well, he is home. He's just got to come to bed.
All right. Well, any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@lifeofgeneral.podcast. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook, and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes.
You forgot to click. Yeah, there you go. 6 stars.
6 stars. Follow us on Podbean and YouTube and all that stuff. And that's about all I got. Thanks again, Mandy.
I'm good.
Peace.
Talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Play my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm proud about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Yo, old lady, drop a guard around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the ring. Got you two cobras, you wanna hang. Shoulder to shoulder, them niggas basic. You know I won't lie. You know that I ain't for that fuck shit. You niggas alright, but I'm way better and she love it. Know that y'all sick as fuck. Here go this tissue, bruh. We taking the dub, hoping you get you some. This hit like a pick me up. She taking my drugs. Know they see the sign. That's some dollar signs. Know they sick as fuck. Know they sick as fuck. Tell them get well soon. Tell them get well soon. Know you sick as fuck. Get well soon.
Oh shit. Watch out, you the car, Billy. Oh shit. Right now, and I'm smiling in your face, bitch. With a gold smile, you should probably make placement. To your eye, niggas sick as fuck. Standing with niggas who down for that party. Who down for some bitches who showing their bodies. Swear to God, niggas.